I can't understand the actions of my master plan. Can a nigga revel in the thoughts of a day? I can't understand the actions of my master plan. Can a nigga revel in the thoughts of a day?
Let it just be, innit? Still shitting on niggas. Still shitting on them. Yes, Vibe by Water TV, welcome back. We're going to get into an album reaction, we're going to get into Car, Languish Arts, and listen, this is going to be an enjoyable one. I've been looking forward to this one. I made sure, I've been wanting to get to this for a few weeks, but I made sure that by the time I do get to it, I've set some time aside, can really take it in, really study the thoughts, get into a space, get into a zone where I can really take in this project for what it is. So, Car's out of Brownsville, New York, and he's one half of Metal Clergy alongside Rock Marciano. Very accomplished MC, someone who's been doing this, putting in work for years and years and years and years and years. Not new to this. Not the biggest artist in the world, obviously, just due to the nature of kind of the content of what he's talking about. It's very much real life. It's very much rooted in, what's happening outside in real day-to-day life. Like, there's no gloss, it's just real, it's authentic. The production, a lot of the times, is minimalistic, very much stripped back beats, kind of something you might associate with Rock Marcy, but I'd say Rock Marcy, a lot of the time, has a little bit more of a bounce to some of his music. But Cars is very much stripped back. You're gonna hear, on a lot of occasions, a lack of drums. That's kind of part of the style as well. And it's poetry, really. It's just about, it's almost spoken word. It's Cars speaking that knowledge, talking his experiences in a very clever and artistic way. And just him giving his take and his analysis of the world around him, how he's grew up, state of affairs. So this is a follow-up to A Martyr's Reward, which came out last year. And this is a surprise, man. I mean, he didn't announce it. I didn't even know. It's crazy that on one of my Rock Marcy videos, shout out whoever that was, shout out you. Man, dropped a comment saying that, Car had just dropped a surprise album. And it's interesting because I had just maybe 5 minutes prior to that found out myself. So shout out him because, you know what I mean, he kept me level with it as well. And he actually dropped 2 albums. So there's the Woeful Studies and then the Language Arts. You see the way I'm even saying language? It's like my mind and my tongue wants to say language, but it's languish. You seeing it? You seeing it? Right? Man, I'm very intrigued to get into this. I did very much enjoy Martyr's Reward. It's a heavy one. You know what I mean? As an artist, Car's a heavy one. I'll tell you that one for free. It's gonna make you feel something. You might make you feel a little bit somber at the end. But it's a thinking man's game, innit? So this is for the brothers who are ready to sit down, study, take in game, you know what I mean, and actually spend time to decipher and actually apply it to the bigger picture, you know what I mean? Of course it is art, but you know what I mean, art is a reflection of life at the end of the day. 2020, he dropped The Descendants of Cain, that was one of my favourite albums that year. I'm going to try and get to that on the channel as well. I'll probably do a revisit of that at some point. But yeah, I'm very excited. Very excited. So let's get into Brownsville, Car, Languish Arts. Let's go.
I speak some triumphs, some mistakes from a place where they held the snub, cause none embrace. Carrying a lot of winter baggage and catching summer case. 1 yams to cook, can't be shook and cure the hunger shakes. Though we gained selling cane, all we did is run in place. Just treat us fairly, if any who hear me will cut and jakes. This quaint rap, true it ain't trap, my brother escapes.
Wait, what did he say?
I do this quaint rap, true it ain't trap, my brothers.
I do this queen rap, true it ain't trap, my brothers escaped. Nice.
I value this less value in the face. I do this quaint rap, true it ain't trap, my brother escapes. I value this less value, whatever come in haste. Some watch me, stress the text and copy, some will paste. Got the hood on my back, full cobra. Probably can tell his body's a shell, not my true form. No need to be rude. If it don't move you, just move on. I know flesh need chase, it's basically too strong. At every level, every time I had to pedal, I'm
If it don't move you, just move on. Straight to the point, very simple. If it don't move you, just move on. Whether that's a situation, whether that's your job, whether that's your, you know what I mean, your friends to a certain extent, maybe that's your environment, maybe whatever it might be. You know what I mean? Even if you just got to get away from home, for example, just move on, man. Just go somewhere else, get your head together and get back in the game. You know what I mean? Simple, but you know what I mean?
dawn. I'm shocked I did this every day. I see a new dawn. It was grim. 20 on the twin, 10 on the futon. Back when couldn't get it if you didn't have a coupon. Was always viewing my dudes if I had a suit on. Got the hood on my back, full cobra.
The hood on my back, full cobra. You know what a cobra is? You see the cobra sits like that, like a hood, literally like a hood. Full cobra. No, car's too ill with it.
Full cobra. Remember as a teen, I get a piece, fiend to use it. Now I try to hide it from myself, cause with ease could lose it. Ain't hard to show the scars if I need to prove it. But what I post in the journal, most of the eternal is we
It's
look.
hard to show the scars if I need to prove it.
Cold as spades, if they had their ways, we'd be nuded. All these displays of hate ain't new, was deeply rooted. Every time we grow, they chopping us down. Wouldn't have as many plots in the ground if this was popular sound. Like cross-dressers be, it ain't.
Every time we grow, they're chopping us down. Every time you're trying to get somewhere, every time you maybe reach that next level, they're trying to bring you straight back.
I'm Aristotle's Plato, Plato's Socrates.
Aristotle's Plato, Plato's Socrates. I'm Aristotle's Plato, Plato's Socrates. Like Plato, Aristotle's Plato. You lot need to go back to philosophy, yeah? Go back to philosophy class, yeah? You know what I mean? And then you catch that one
On my back, full cobra. Full cobra.
I want you to go type in what a cobra is. I want you to go on Google, type in cobra. I got a hood on my back, full cobra. I got my hood on my back, full cobra. Ew.
Got the hood.
I mean, she was the one who was warm and, you know, like, friendly to me, the one that I felt some kind of emotional ties to. And my father was, you know, just the opposite. He's like a cold motherfucker in his school. You know, he never really, like, showed any signs of emotion.
A veteran from pleasant and misery. Job blessed, didn't digest what they fed us in history. Not too nice, see the true stripes, if that is sufficient.
What did you say? Job blessed, didn't digest what they fed us in history. Best believe what you're getting taught in school is only half the... I can't even say it's half the truth. Quarter of the truth. You know what I mean? It's not even a fragment of the truth. Because at the end of the day, who are the sources? What do they look like? And what's their biases? What's their point of view? Where do they stand in the equation? What's their agenda? Come on, man.
Base income should sink, it's measured efficiency. I talk to you like an old uncle, that's my nuance. Got killed cold.
He said, I talk to you like an old uncle, that's my nuance. You know when your uncle or someone, an elder statesman, just talking shit to you like, hey, don't make this, make sure you do this, make sure you stay in school, make sure you don't go down this path. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we your old ass. Like, man, we your old ass. You know what I mean? He said, I talk to you like that though. That's the nuance, because the game is in the lyrics, it's in the words. Don't think about the source per se, it's about the actual content, the information. You know what I mean? You might not respect the person who's delivering it, you know what I mean? But it's still information. Someone on the side of the street, you know what I mean? Someone, a homeless man, can give you the game. And it's not a case of, oh, but you're on the floor and you're homeless, so why shall I listen to... No, fuck all that. It's the information. What is he saying? Is he talking truth or is he chatting shit? You know what I mean? I like that line. I talk to you like an old uncle. That's my nuance. I like that.
Bill with my uncles, just my true arms. I know accomplishments. Can send the dark continents. Sent to spark confidence. Correct the seeds, speak a split second deeds. Long consequence. If you're a deep person, keep searching and mass facts. I believe they call the fall.
If you're a deep person, keep searching and amass facts. If you're a deep person, keep searching and amass facts. I like that. If you're a deep person, keep searching. Keep looking for the answers. Amass all of the facts. The opinions, do away with them. Do away with them. You don't need that. What's the facts of the matter? Where's the truth? What is the truth in the equation? Take those minerals. They're the minerals you want. That's what you want. Everything else is chat. And it's distractions, and it's here to, you know what I mean? It's here to just entertain you for a short time, not a long time. You know what I mean?
Father, you're supposed to get past that. If never one, run everyone like it's the last lap. Hand in hands, the family.
I believe they call him father because you're supposed to get past that. I believe they call him father. Father. Distance. Father. Because you're supposed to get past that. You're supposed to supersede that. You're supposed to be better than your father. The idea is that your father's here, as an example, brings you up, you grow, you get older, you turn into a young adult, and then you supersede. You get past that. Father. Distance. Further. Father. Ill.
Kids, they tried to color us cause only saw us as culprits. He do what they tried to feed, they deceive in the doses. Bottom line,
let's believe this is my first listen as well, by the way, so if you don't see me going nuts and picking up every line, it's just not possible. A lot of it's going over my head. I ain't here to say nothing other than the truth. I ain't picking up on everything, and that's fine. That's fine. If you've picked up on it, you know what I mean, and I miss it, let me know in the comments, bring me up to speed. I have no problems with that. Let's go.
the time for bikinis, bellinis, mimosas. Never want war, but I'm for sure cleaning my toasters. Cause when crabs on go for roll, all I see is ferocious. Every mention is for hood ascension. May not be a good man, but
every mention is for hood ascension. Every mention is for hood ascension. I like that.
Good intention. Got good intention.
This one definitely sounds urgent though. The beat just, I can't even call it a beat. The instrumentation sounds urgent for sure.
Every mention, hood ascension.
For me to be a man, I had to like repress, whatever emotions I had that I had developed, in contact.
We were sending for
Alright, so let me pull that up here, the outro. As far as I was concerned, that was how a man was supposed to be. So in order for me to be a man, I had to like repress, whatever emotions I had. That I had to develop, in contact with my mother. So I had to put all of that shit aside in order for me to be a man. That's ill though. That's ill. Because in my experience, you know what I mean? Like, even in people's just general dealings with women, although you might have the most beautiful and good to you mum who's brought you up the right way, like in this world we live, like those emotions, those feelings, those values that might be instilled to you from your mum, when you go out in this treacherous world, a lot of times you feel like you have to repress that in order for you to be a wolf out here, in order for you to be an animal, in order for you to just run true, you know what I mean? Cut through. But a lot of those things are rooted in toxicity, and it's sad because, you know what I mean? As I say, as a man, you believe that in repressing, in putting that shit to the side, that's what's gonna get you there. But a lot of the time, it does end up blowing up in your face because there's only so long you could do that before you have to look yourself in the mirror. As they say, you know what I mean, a lot of the times you might be running to a destination, but when you get to the destination, you just end up looking at yourself on the other side and the trail that you've potentially left behind. You know what I mean?
Fortitude, had to go killing no one bought his food. Wasn't from a time we were fine, all I saw was crude. Put death to one acceptance, not even strange. Can tell what past tethered to genuine on phony exchange. Aim to make poems.
You know the one thing about Carr, you can just hear in his words and in his tonage and in his verbiage. This man's seen a lot of life, and this man's been through a lot of real stuff because you can just hear it. there's a truth. There's a even in the slight kind of, I don't know if the word is raspiness, but in that just in his voice, in the tonage, there's just like a instilled pain that's just there. It's just like, it's almost like you know when there's just that I don't know, like your granddad, for example, who you're just in a corner minding his business, reading his newspaper, and everyone's running around, kids running around, everything's chaotic and whatnot. And it's just a man just in the corner sat there with all of the knowledge of like how things came to be or the current state of affairs or the family dynamics, and it's just like, you go to him when you really, really don't even want to go to him, but you need to go to him because he's going to have the answers, and he's going to say the right things, and he's going to give you the realness, he's going to give you the truth, the purity of it without all the bells and whistles.
Yeah, I say rest in peace to so many names. There's no Joneses to keep up with, only the pains. Try saving you even occasion.
There's no Joneses to keep up with, only the pains. We don't keep up with the Joneses, only the pains.
Slain, I travel here is too fragile to do a moment in vain.
Our tribal hair is too frazzled to do a moment in vain. Our tribal hair is too frazzled to do a moment in vain. Do you know how deep that is? Just that one line alone. Our tribal hair, our 4C hair, or what? Our tribal hair is too frazzled to do a moment in vain. That's ill. And we know what people be doing to their hair out here as a means to, you know, look the part, look presentable, look corporate, birthdays, all the rest of it, to look on fleek. Madness. Come on.
Been attacked for making it out of poverty. Finally live on a block with no lots, was like lottery. With sons torn up with guns pointed, they tried body me. Showed the commode, came out.
Been attacked for making it out of poverty. How many rappers and yeah, we'll just say rappers who, you know what I mean, RIP P&B again. How many rappers are dropping after they've got the success, after they've got the money, after they've got the access, after they've moved out of their neighborhood? Being attacked after you make it out of poverty.
Too many prophets. That's one of
It's poetry. It's even hard. It's even hardly music. This is language arts. This is what this shit is. That's a fitting name.
Styles my lane, they made it bang with cocaine. It's raw rocks, a few banking. It's the new blanket with the smallpox. Corrupt the complicit, black fact they can't face. Thought the whole patrol was vegan. How they plant base, made bombs by touching palms with no handshakes. Sites from college.
Wait. Holla. Let's slow this down. Too many prophets, that's why no war stops. Right? Too many people who be thinking that is why the wars are going on. Because everyone thinks they're the ultimate power, right? My lane, they made it bang with cocaine. So in my environment, where I've come up out of, they've made it a case where I'm surrounded by drug-infested neighborhoods and drug-infested situations where, as someone who's trying to come out of that era, the smart thing to do, which is actually the illegitimate thing to do, is to play with the, and then make the, in order for you to, right? That's raw rocks, a few banking, right? You're peddling in order to get some change, right? It's the new blanket with the smallpox. Corrupt, complicit, that's all cops. The law knows what's going on. The law's a part. Hey, the law knows what's going on. Law enforcement knows what's going on. Governments know what's going on. But there isn't any answers. There isn't any money. There isn't any funding. There's no other alternatives. So outside of that, and when you're seeing where money and these things and access are being mismanaged and mishandled, then surely you must be complicit to what's happening today and now in these situations, right? That's all cops, right? That's an exact fact that they can't face. That's something that we see on a day-to-day when we're seeing innocent people being killed and we're seeing the corruptions right in our face. You know what I mean? It's happening in the UK, it's happening in America, it's happening in Africa, it's happening everywhere around the world. And it's something that a lot of us, I would like to say the majority, but hey, a lot of us can see. We've seen, you know, the historical backdrop. We've seen what's happening in the contemporary age. But people can't face it. People don't, but if you just say that openly, people will try and fight you for saying that because no one can face the reality. Right? Thought the whole patrol was vegan, how they plant base. Made bonds by touching palms with no handshakes. Made bonds by touching palms with no handshakes. That's mad. No handshakes, in an agreement, a lot of the times it's a case of where both parties at least understands the deal. There's a deal being made, or what's the word? There's rules, codified rules. So if I, for example, go against that, then we know. But we're in a game where a lot of the times people don't even know the nature of the rules because you might partake in it, and what you're partaking in is fine. But then when I partake in it, it's not fine. I need to be punished now. Yours doesn't even need to be seen. Right?
My words, it's time I can't waste. We were sitting for dinner, did it with no reservations. We were sitting for dinner, did it with no reservations. To some it's just rhetoric, unless you roll funds, all the guns and they never click.
Wait. To some it's just rhetoric. To some it's just talk. It's just trivia. But unless you know who funds holding guns, it may never click. Unless you know who funds it. Unless you know who are the parties who have a vested interest. The people who stand to gain. The people who finance. The people who win on both sides. If you're holding the guns and you're the person in the field, it may never click. You will never understand it. You are actually just being played as a pawn here for someone who's going to win no matter the outcome.
We were sending for dinner. Did it with no reservation.
I don't make any bones about where I'm going to spend eternity. I've always been wild.
My whole lambing program to enjoy was detrimental. To raise the best kids, let's give the best parental.
Yes.
If your ex is down, make the next one fun exponential. Because of where I rest, been assessed to have less potential. It was torrential, just one direct.
Because where I rest, I've been assessed to have less potential. It's already been predetermined. Someone's already decided that. Just based on your zip code or your postal code of where you live.
Full caper, bring it to your chest, and the rest is central. If I ever pull a four on you and said, gimme, forgive me.
Alright, help me out there. I didn't really. If I ever pulled a 4 on you, said gimme, forgive me. Oh well, okay, fair enough. Obviously. So if I've ever pulled on you and stuck you up for the sake of putting bread in my mouth so I can eat and survive, forgive me.
Sorry for where I pushed, using the way. I was trying to formulate before I'm shaped back in the clay. Always in a state of drama, had to use sagacity. Lost.
That's ill, man. It's not the most complex, but that's a nice way. That's a nice way to put it. I'm just trying to formulate before I'm shaped back into clay. I'm just trying to formulate. I'm just trying to get into a position before I'm turned back into clay. Before I'm returning to the essence.
Confidence with consequences, everybody passing me. Had lawyers for my memorial wall was filled to capacity. Not how I wanted it, but I guess it's how I had to be. Rest in peace, man. Love all y'all. Some like how I talk, but I'm a better listener. I live in these bars, might be hard to find a better prisoner.
Some like how I talk, but I'm a better listener. Always better to be a listener than a talker. Listen first, talk later. Yeah? So some like how I talk, always been a better listener. I live in these bars. It might be hard to find a better prisoner. And that's how all of the greats feel. Because you're always trying to supersede your last project or your last idea. But how do you do that when the heights are so lofty? You're a prisoner to your own pen. You're a prisoner to your own art. You're a prisoner to your own music. You're a prisoner to your own standards. And it happens across all walks of life. You know what I mean? If you take pride in what you do, but
hard being seen as, they haven't lived as a nigga. Nothing tender, they flank you, places kids is living. Was about to kill, but real friends made me sit and consider.
It's hard being seen and having lived as a nigga. Nothing tender, they flag you, kids and lizards. Was about to kill, but real friends made me sit and consider.
Some life is sweet, I'm beating. All I've been sipping is bitter. At the top of my craft, should probably move to peak skill.
This just sounds like a man who's just like reflecting on his life and reflecting on his past transgressions, and it's just like distilled and filled with pain and just regret, knowing that he's come out the other side. But what it took for him to come out the other side was a lot of horror that he had to do to a lot of people and to himself, which scarred them, but also scars him or yourself in the process.
Got a place to trade pound on your artery. Snow bothers me, so pardon me. Put me more, you said, forgive me.
Okay, off rip, this is already sounding like the most volume, most loud track so far. Everything else has kind of been at a lower register. It's been a lot more introspective, a lot more, this is definitely still going to be introspective, but a lot more, you know, somber, let's say, a lot more food for thought at a lower register, you know what I mean? It sounds a bit loud.
I was fearful, had severe cold,
instrumental.
had to play. Quiet with my actions, no distractions, care what the rest say. I'm as serious as I take threats. The dark horse.
Quiet with my actions, no distractions, don't care what the rest say. Simple, but true to the point.
I know my plight at active night, ain't have a day rest. I've been told God's soul.
He said, I know my plight and active night ain't have a day's rest. I know my plight is active night. Ain't have a day's rest.
Either vitamin D deficient or dealing with another summer loss. Despite I hope I had light, plenty now I've come across. In this life I may never be right, still very contrite. With a vague love, don't know what you made of, you blend and fight. I do my duty star, got beauty marks, veteran stripes.
So I take that back about this being slightly up-tempo or whatever I said. I mean, it started that way, but it's still a very somber one, because we're in language arts. You get me?
Made it through the place to be.
this one, it seems like he's reflecting on his younger self again, and kind of some of the thoughts that he had as a young actions and some of the activities he took part in order to just make bread, in order to, you know, survive another day. But I think now he's obviously looking back and he's like, yeah, my mindset and how I was thinking wasn't even balanced. It wasn't even the right things to be thinking, but it's a case of, in an act of desperation or in an act of survival, a lot of the times when you don't have resources and you don't have tools in your hand, you're not going to be able to think clearly. You're not going to be able to make the right decision. So it's just a blessing, and it's lucky that he was even able to get to the other side to be able to look back and say, oh shit, yeah, that probably wasn't the right way to go about things, but thank God that I got here where I can actually even have that perspective. You know what I mean?
It's been a while, I left the city, nothing with me but some
I don't know who this is, but he sounds like Freddie Gibbs. Yeah, he's giving me a Freddie Gibbs impression here.
My father, plane landed, I'm alive, I'm like the good guys. My people serve the sunrise, it's busting with the sun kiss. The niggas made a slap, you say.
Okay, so this is Chuck Strangers. Oh well, shout out Chuck Strangers. Of Odd Future, not Odd Future, of which Joey Badass's clique? I can't even remember. Pro Era, yeah, original Pro Era member. Shout out Chuck Strangers.
Now it's all the rail, get it back straight, downhill on the fast break. We turning bad habits to tax breaks. It was me, Black Trader Heartless. God bless him and anyone he involved with. No, you couldn't call it. Tried to give you game, they couldn't reinstall it. Who bad is that though?
Tried to give you game, they told you to. I tried to give you game, they told you to reinstall it. Damn. You try to give someone game and then they fob you off and they say, no, we ain't getting for that. And they come back later, what was that shit you were saying the other day? What's it? Nah, bro. That time has passed. I ain't got time to reinstall it. Come on. I like that.
Adventure, sweetest mango, sweetest pussy when you ain't had no time to hit a line. Still in his essence, some desire. And his essence, some desire. Can't take it, give me mine.
Over matter, quiet down, not around, low chatter. Don't speak first, rather research, promote that.
Over matter, quiet down when I'm around, lower chatter. You know when you're hearing people just talking shit and you're around and you're like, these brothers don't even know what they're talking about. That's when you, rather than joining the nonsense chat, you might as well just lower the chatter and just you take breaths and you just lower your partaking in what's going on, and then you'll live to see another day. You know what I mean?
When I'm grown back, it's in the room, I'm supposed to bag it. From wild blocks, took foul shots, was in my motion, gathered, scanned the feast with nice. Can't reach these heights, broke the ladder, kept it intriguing. About my pestilent breeding, cloak and dagger, the game sparse, what the new brainwash, hope and lather. I'd rather words be the truth, not just the future over the shadow. Mill stock still hot for what we did in the cold. Slid from a trolley is a movie, my crew, we had a difficult role. Some of the sediments for loving dead presidents.
If this is truly a movie, if this is truly a movie, me and my crew had a difficult role. Yeah, I like that. I like that. I like that.
Like necromancers, I'm best to never question, just respectful answers. Never called police one time, knew they gave no second chances. None got a dog so hard, we even rejected pampers.
Squirrel, look at me. My body different, I'm breathing different.
I'm liking the transitions as well. It almost feels like I'm in like a short film or something, and it's just I'm transitioning through the tracks, and it's just like it's cutting from scene to scene to scene to scene to scene to scene.
Through all the bars, wore my scars as mementos. Was heavy young man, furry one friend. Had 10 foes, it been woes, it's how the trend goes. Never would've been chose. Through the sift, they couldn't picture me getting in if I ain't imposed. Bred in the height of Maya, ready light of fire when them froze. With my hardest best tries, fall as highs, they been lows. My hurtful eyes seen all when virtue dies and sin grows. Wish I learned hate sooner, but I late.
My hurtful eyes seen all when virtue dies, sin grows. My hurtful eyes, my eyes which are hurtful, my looking eyes, seen all when the virtue dies, when the morality goes out the window. Sorry, when the morality goes out the window, and people stop, you know, using principles or being of principle, that's when the sin grows. Because now there's nothing to kind of hold us accountable. There's no rules. There's no cornerstones that we've put in place in order to keep people, you know, moral, in a sense. You know what I mean? And that's when sin grows, because now, no holds bars. Everything goes.
Just saving the push, kick, flip. Wasn't a cheapskate. All the sassiest things happen.
Nice. Well, just saving the push and kick flip wasn't a cheapskate. I like that.
The king, trying to seek mate for peace sake. Can't wait till our kids had kids to be great. Preferred early birds, didn't want to hear them worldly words. She late. Life might have been calm if moms gave me every key trait. All promise dissipated the time I bust the nickel plated 3-8. Never would have made it to June. Never would have made it to June. If waited to hear you may. You see flowers or not, I know evil powers plot the bouquet.
Never would have made it to the summer. Never would have made it to June if I would have waited to hear you may. If I would have waited for you to say, okay, now you can leave, I wouldn't have even got here. If I didn't take that initiative, I wouldn't have even got. Come on, man.
On guard, if ain't on guard, get touche. On guard, if ain't on guard, get touche.
Yeah, that's an eerie one still. That one is an eerie one. I can't even lie.
Beautiful soul over handsome face. Everything I stay elevate. Only chance disgrace. My endeavor forever is the treasure, but I can't replace. The caves out Brownsville 4,008 grams of steaks, high standard taste. Someone through many stages lonely. Love ain't just intimate, it's infinite ways to show me. I'm at the
Love isn't just intimate. There's infinite ways you can show me. True spit. True spit.
point where age can slow me. When I using a doctor, Peruvian, Maka, and Asian Goji. How I acted through a phase back in the days, they just stone me. If you produce, learn your roots, stop naming our babies Toby. From rich to shine, rich doing time to raise it.
He said if you produce to know your roots, stop naming our babies Toby. Damn.
We'll be golden, till that hope I'm still holding. Still.
Young and 10, I remember, only reaching for low
Nice.
grapes. Hype trying
I like
pipe.
how it worked in the chorus with the verse there. It's like he was spitting a verse and then she came back in and he stopped, waited his turn, she exited, come straight back in. I like that.
In high school, constant strife, wishing for life with no pains, no aches. Stables getting thinner, till I when I had some snowflakes. Lost friends who live Dolce's, out of town, cold case. The Big Apple's factory, can't live Papel with no papes. One of my artists rockin' might pop in, show face. All my family died broke, folks never needed probate.
All my family died broke, folks didn't even need probate. That's harsh. That's ill, man. That's mate.
It was frozen, knowing one day will be golden. So that hope I'm still holding, still holding, holding. Till that hope I'm still holding, creating the face life's holding.
I don't know what it is about this album, but this Languish Arts is even more somber than some of his past shit, because fuck, this is heavy. Every word, every instrumental is just like, it's just like, I don't even know what the word is, just somber. It's just really, really somber. Really somber, you know?
Powers and knowledge, law by any law. Get ready for what you ain't ready for. Was never scared to go for broke, was already poor.
He said impoverished knowledge, Lord by any law. When the knowledge is even impoverished, even when the knowledge is impoverished, Lord by any law. You don't even know what you should be listening to and what applies to you and the type of guidance you be taking from people. You be taking everything because you have to decipher it from yourself. You don't even necessarily know the parts that should be fitting and the ones that aren't fitting. The ones to apply, the ones not to apply. Get ready for what you ain't ready for. How do you even know how to get ready when you don't even know what you're getting ready for? Was never scared to go for broke because I was already poor. So I'm ready to risk it all because I ain't already have shit. Mate. Those 3 lines right there, I think perfectly sums up this whole project. I could be wrong, but that's how I feel.
Don't know how many more, but standing gutter. Your state greens with the family color. Call it buck. I'm from the toughest town. Either leave, tighten your belt, or buckle down. For quick repair, we stick a square, never stuck around. I advise you, not a live wire, don't touch the ground. Wrong side of the track, it was very distracted. Concealed blades, even the days we buried the hatchet. No more toe-to-toes, the bros now parry with ratchets. Could've lived better, but never buried my blackness. Till we straight in heaven, me and brethren hell-bent. It's money tight and night, on the shell spent. If fear and doubt, in and out is how I mail vent. Those 710s, all the sentiments, well met. Durable, though incurable beef can't dissuade me. Forever my trust is low, the band betrayed me. State militaries, barbaric, they plans to fade me. So even when I'm feeling my lanes, I can't be lazy. Then they heat held torches, and couldn't hold a candle. Mom said, be a good boy, but I had no example. Give substance to seize.
Mum said, be a good boy, but I have no example. How real is that? How real is that? Your mum's always gonna tell you, yeah, go out there and be a good boy and do the right thing, but a lot of the times people base that in like religious scripture and stuff, and they'll, you know, based around a religious environment, it'll be a case of, yeah, be a good boy and, you know, adhere to what might be in the text, let's say, for example, or the words of the text. But outside of that context, going into the real world, be a good boy. But who's a good boy? Is it the person with the most money? Because in the adult game, apparently the person who's the best person or the winner or the person you should aspire to be is the person with the most money. Is that the good boy? Majority of the time in this world, that's the person doing the most fuckery. Is that a good person? What's the example? Who is the example? If there's no example, then what? You gotta figure it out for your damn self.
A whole different story about a good life. It'd be a whole different story.
It's the stuff only suffering makes.
It's the stuff only suffering makes.
This is stuff only suffering makes.
You can hear it.
This is the sound of last place. Classmates, you only had one pair of pants. They cut a lot of slack. Tired of eating kid meals to be a big deal. I got a Mac.
Tired of eating kids' meals to be a big deal, you got a Mac. Tired of eating kids' meals. Why would you be eating kids' meal as a grown man? Because it's the cheapest on the menu. But if you want to get an adult meal, if you want to get a big deal, you get a Mac. So rather than getting a Happy Meal, you get the Big Mac. But to get the Big Mac, you need the Big Mac.
Dope is not a track. Many phony known to phone it in. I never dialed it back. I'm not dense, I know trying to make sense. Don't make dollars stack, but I insist like a dying wit. And it was.
He said, I'm not dense. I'm not trying to make sense. I make dollars stack. No, he said, I'm not dense. I'm not trying to make sense or make dollars stack. I'm not here to try and make a buck or to make you think that I'm clever or to make a stack. But I insist like a dying wish. The best gift you can give a child is a fact. The best gift you could give your children is the truth at the earliest possible point. The best gift you can give your children is the truth at the earliest possible point. So at least then they can open their eyes to the real world and what's really happening outside. They have a point of reference from when you've told them that truth. And from that day forward, they can live in a reality that they can shape themselves. That's one thing I would say in my family household. Things were definitely never perfect and stuff, but in my family household, especially my mother, and even the brothers that I had and stuff like that, is that we got to a place where very young, my eyes were open to a lot of things about the world at a very young age. My mum will talk to me about a lot of the truths and the ills and the stuff that going on in the world from a very young age. And that's what allowed me. People can say, you know, here and there, you know, well, maybe that's a bit selfish or whatever, because it might harden you a little bit. It might make you a little bit conscious as a young child when really you should just be out having fun and rare tech. But what I've noticed is that a lot of the people who didn't get that type of guidance, what I would call guidance, or that type of truth at an early age, they get to adulthood and they don't have a clue what's going on. And they can't decipher truth from false. They can't decipher a man chatting shit as opposed to a man actually trying to feed you information and help you. They cannot do it. They don't have the critical life skills. I'm not talking about in academia, life. They don't have life smarts. And that's something you get at home or from your elders at a very young age, ideally. I said this is the sound of last place.
Just another scarred mind, trying to generate. But then to play. Call line with hard time on the interstate. Adapt, don't assimilate. Don't just be happy getting in and innovate.
Don't adapt. No, he said adapt. He said adapt, don't assimilate. Don't just be happy getting in. Innovate. Don't just be happy you got your foot in the door. Make changes. Make your foot and make your word and make your presence be known. Change shit. Shake the room when you're in there. Don't just be happy to come and sit on the sofa. What's that going to do? Anyone can sit in that spot. That could potentially be a token spot. It could be you, it could be him, it could be anyone. But now that you're in there, what are you going to do? Innovate. Yes, I'm in there.
Well, I jot up, don't gotta flood you with product. At the end of the day, he popped the whip. Pops quick with the whip. Was whipped in his shape. From a cruel hub. Not this new love. Off of vintage hate. Proudly trying to survive.
Crew hop, not this new love.
Trying to control the frontal lobe. But in the back of my mind, knew. They peddle fiction, ghetto depictions. It's how I really look. I fought giants with...
Trying to control the frontal lobe, but the back of my mind knew. You know, people say, oh, I kind of knew in the back of my mind. But then they say the frontal lobe doesn't develop until you reach X age. What's it, 25 or something? That's when your frontal lobe is fully developed. But the back of my mind, I already knew something weren't right. Something didn't feel right. Something was off.
With defiance, of course, triumph.
Work we put in then when it should have been bedtime. The astute listen and hear every soup, kitchen and bread line. The astute, the ones who are paying attention, listen and they hear every soup, kitchen and bread line. Soup kitchen. In the poverty areas, you may go to a soup kitchen. You might stand in a bread line. That's ill. That's ill. Work you put in then when it should have been bedtime. You should be sleeping. Your peers might be sleeping. Certain people might be sleeping, ready for work the next day. Maybe for school the next day. But instead, you're working. You might be actually out in the field. You might be in another field doing other activities. Trying to make ends. Graveyard shifting. When it should have been bedtime. Recovering. Mad.
He won't come out alive. So I'm trying to dab mine. This is stuff only suffering makes. This is the sound of last place. Last place.
Ain't nobody rich in the ghetto. Nobody rich in the ghetto. If we was rich, we wouldn't be here.
Nobody's rich in the ghetto. And if it's true, we wouldn't be here. What's the point? What's the point of being hood rich? What's the point of having? But then you can't really do anything. You don't have the facilities to actually make any changes because you don't really have it. You've just been able to get it temporarily for a moment in time. Hey, language arts, car, back with another one. That was ill, man. I need to sit with that. I need to listen to that a whole lot more times. I'm even kind of, it's nuts that I've actually done this on camera because I feel like something this deep and something this, just yes, there's just too much to unpack here. And having the camera on and then trying to listen to the lyrics as well, it's just a bit of a mind fuck for me. But yo, that was Car, Languish Arts, and this is Vibe by Water TV. Come back for another one. Check out more Car. You know what I mean? Plenty of Car out there, so make sure you look into that. Make sure you check out some additional videos I got on the channel. If you like this style, make sure you come back for another one. If you like this video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Peace and love. Vibe by Water TV. Bye.